There has been a lot of confusion about Social Security lately, from possible tax cuts to benefit increases to new payment rules. So today I'm going to break down the latest updates, including what Congress and President Trump are proposing and what it could mean for your future benefits. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am Aura Ogorian with ACAP Advisors and Accountants, your trusted source for smart tax and financial strategies, all in one place. Let's first go over the biggest headline, which is the cost of living adjustment, also known as the COLA adjustment for 2025. And for this year, it's going to be 3.2%. Now that's going to help your benefits keep in line with inflation, but it's still far less than what it was in 2023 when we had a COLA adjustment of 8.7%. If you're collecting Social Security before your full retirement age and you're still working, there's good news for you as well. In 2025, the earnings limit before your benefits get cut has been increased to $22,300. That means you can earn a little bit more money without having a portion of your Social Security benefits cut. If you earn more than $22,300 while you're still working before your full retirement age, Social Security will withhold $1 for every $2 of earnings you have over that limit. Now keep in mind, once you reach the full retirement age, the earnings limitations will not apply anymore. You can earn as much as you want without losing your Social Security benefits. So let's assume you're 63 years old in 2025 and you're collecting Social Security benefits while also working part-time. So if you earn $30,000 a year in 2025, you're already over that income limit, and Social Security will temporarily withhold some of your benefits to balance things out. Now, I should point out that these withholdings are temporary, not permanent, because once you reach your full retirement age, Social Security will recalculate your benefit and it will adjust it upward for the months when the benefits were withheld. The maximum Social Security benefit for someone retiring at full retirement age in 2025 is also increasing to up to $3,900 per month. But remember, to get the maximum, you would have to have earned the maximum taxable wages for at least 35 years. We just went over some of the changes in Social Security for 2025. Now let's go over the recent proposals by Congress and also the White House that directly relate to Social Security. According to Congress.gov, there are currently 661 bills in Congress that have the words Social Security in them. But right now it's completely unknown which one of those proposals will actually go into a final bill that will be passed and also signed by the president. The Social Security Fairness Act was passed in January of this year, and that had two monumental changes to it. One was the elimination of the windfall provision, and the other was the elimination of the government pension offset. I did a very detailed video of this, and you can click on the link to get more information about the Social Security Fairness Act. So there's currently a bill in the Senate called the Social Security Expansion Act, and it was introduced by Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont and Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts. So this act essentially eliminates the income cap on Social Security earnings. So right now your Social Security tax is 6.2%, but up to a maximum earnings of $176,100. Any earnings above that, you don't pay Social Security tax. So this bill would essentially eliminate that ceiling, so you could pay 6.2% Social Security tax, unlimited amount of earnings. What this bill also does is it increases the Social Security benefits for everyone by approximately $2,400 a year. It also introduces a new method of calculating the cost of living adjustment for the Social Security benefits. Now, the current status of this bill is that it's been read twice on the Senate floor, but it has not been presented for any type of vote. Now, there's another bill on the House floor called the Social Security and Medicare Lockbox Act, and it was introduced by Tim Walberg of Michigan. Now, the aim of this bill is to create a Social Security and a Medicare surplus protection account, and also to create restrictions on the type of securities that surplus can be invested in. Now, the goal is to safeguard the surplus and to limit the types of investments that the surplus can be invested in. The current status of this bill is that it's been proposed, but there have been no votes on it either. So as I mentioned earlier, there are 661 bills right now in Congress that have the word Social Security in it. And the job of Speaker Mike Johnson right now is to review all those different priorities and see which one he wants to include in a final package. But Speaker Johnson also has to factor in the priorities of the White House and which President Trump has labeled the big, beautiful tax bill. During the campaign trail, President Trump made a lot of different promises on what he wants to include in the final tax package. In fact, I did a separate video on that, listing all the things, all the different priorities that President Trump has. So once the Speaker of the House has collected all the different ideas, including President Trump's priorities, into a final package, it'll get passed on to the Senate and then on to the President's desk for signature. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please remember to like, subscribe, and share our channel. And if there's a topic that you want me to cover in a future video, please make sure to put it into the comment section below. So I mentioned earlier about some of the bills that are being proposed in Congress right now, but now let's go over some of the proposals that President Trump has specifically related to Social Security. In a different video, I mentioned how President Trump wants to remove the taxation of Social Security benefits, aiming to increase the retirees' net income. Now, to pay for these tax cuts, Trump has proposed cutting costs by eliminating 7,000 jobs in the Social Security office, imposing a hiring freeze within the government, upgrading Social Security's archaic computer system to a more modern system, and that's being headed by DOGE, a Department of Government Efficiency, which is led by Elon Musk. And lastly, to pay for some of these cuts, President Trump has proposed reducing fraud by implementing stricter identification process, requiring in-person visits for certain benefit applications. President Trump has also signed several presidential memorandas and executive orders related to Social Security. So a presidential memoranda is different than an executive order in that an executive order is a legal binding document and it's also published in the Federal Register. A presidential memoranda is not legally binding, it's less formal, and it's also not published in the Federal Register. So that being said, on March 15th of 2025, President Trump signed a presidential memoranda preventing illegal aliens from obtaining Social Security benefits. And then on March 25th, 2025, President Trump signed an executive order entitled Modernizing Payments to and from America's Bank Account. That mandates that effective September 30th of 2025, federal government will cease issuing all paper checks for all disbursements, including Social Security benefits. Now, this policy requires that all federal payments be made either through electronic funds transfers, such as direct deposits, prepayment debit cards, digital wallets, real-time payment systems, and the aim is to enhance efficiency, reduce costs, and minimize fraud associated with paper checks. So the Social Security Administration is implementing this directive by transitioning beneficiaries into the electronic payment system and also launching a public awareness campaign to let people know of the upcoming deadline on September 30th. With all these changes happening, from payment methods to tax proposals, now is a perfect time to get ahead of it. So I recommend creating My Social Security account online. It's free, it's secure, it gives you full control of updates on your direct deposit, it helps you manage your tax withholdings and track your benefits. I'll include a link in the description below. So what do you think is going to happen with Social Security? Do you think there's going to be benefit cuts? Are there going to be an increase in taxation? Is there going to be elimination of taxation on Social Security benefits? Is there going to be an increase in the retirement age? Drop your predictions in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you have to say.